All right, start off by saying Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Tonight's lesson will be called America Under Siege. Tonight's lesson will be called America Under Siege. Got a lot going on. There's already been a lot going on, but this last week it's been turned all the way up. Cough syrup, liquor, drugs, it's turned up. And I hope people are prepared for what's about to happen. All right, and I don't think people are, so that's why I'm doing the lesson. Because I truly don't believe people understand what's on the way. Go to Google and put in the word siege, S-I-E-G-E. So tonight's lesson is called America Under Siege. And go to Google and put in the word siege, S-I-E-G-E. And read that for them up.
Yeah. So, siege, a military operation in which enemy forces surround a town or building, cutting off essential supplies with the aim of compelling the surrender of those inside.
So siege means a military operation in which enemy forces surround a town or a building. So tonight's lesson, America Under Siege, is not talking about ISIS or another person coming to this country. It's talking about what the government of America is about to do to their own people. The government is our enemy. And they're going to bring in military operations to surround these cities. And aiming to compel those that are inside to surrender. First, they're coming for the guns. All right, and then they're already coming for your rights, but they're coming for the guns real hard right now. And they're not going to stop until the guns are taken. Once they're taking the guns, then everything else will be taken, all the other rights that they claim they still have. Okay? So let's get into it. So, over the last couple of days, so at the beginning of the week, we had the Alton Sterling shooting in Louisiana. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen that, where this guy was out selling CDs and someone called the police saying that he had a gun. And the moment the police get there, they don't even talk to the guy. They don't even say, hey, what's going on? They just bum rush him and tackle him. Black man with a gun, we can't take no chances. So they just bum rush him and tackle him. You got two polices on top of this gentleman, and you can see clearly in the video that one is got his knees on the arm of the guy, his left arm, to where he can't even move. So you figure the other cop will do the same thing. No, they automatically yell, he has a gun, and start shooting the guy in the chest and kills him. Whatever happened to tasing? Let me tase this guy and then take his gun. So if he did have a gun in his pocket, tase him, take the gun. And then a day or two later, Philando Castile in Minnesota got pulled over in a traffic violation, said broken tail light. He was the driver of the car. The police asked him for his license and registration. And when he went to grab his license, before he did, he told the police, hey, I have a gun. I'm a registered carrier. I got my gun on me. So the police asked him for his license and registration. And when he went to grab his license, police shot him about 4 or 5 times. And not only did he shoot him, the guy's girlfriend was recording the whole thing, and you can see on the video that the guy slowly died in the car right in front of the officer. After the officer realized I'm shooting this guy, He's no longer a threat. Take him out of the car and give him first aid until the ambulance gets there. Just straight cruelty. He kept the gun pointed on the guy as he died. The whole video, you watch it, and he kept the gun on him. When he could have easily called over the other cops and said, "Hey, I shot the guy. Hey, let's get him out the car. Let's get CPR. Let's get something going until the ambulance get here." It probably could have saved the guy's life. All right. So now we already know. Ever since the Michael Brown incident, that's actually been 2 years, you guys, since the Michael Brown incident. Wow, at time, that's how fast time is going by. You don't even realize that it's already been 2 years. 2 Augusts ago that happened. Don't even realize it's been that long. All right. But since that happened, you had protests, rallies going on over the last couple of days, and then the one last night in Dallas got completely out of control. It said 12 cops shot and 5 of them dead. Okay. And then since then, you had a police that got shot in Missouri. He pulled some guy over. He got shot this morning or last night. Oh, and then in Tennessee, they say there was a guy riding by from a motel and shooting at the freeway, shooting at cops. And then they say this morning that a guy in Georgia called the police and said that his house had got broken into. And when the cops got there, they said he bum rushed the cop and shot him. So now you have all these incidents with cops being shot, and they're supposedly all blacks doing the shooting. The Dallas shooting, the guy was black, and they say he was an ex-military individual. And he's been called a lone wolf, so he did it on his own. All right? Now, you have to put this together. Okay? For one, this rally was a day after, or 2 days after Alton Sterling got shot, and a day after the shooting in Minnesota. So you telling me one individual has the wits to say, okay, they're going to do a Dallas parade tomorrow, and I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to push the position of myself in this position, in this spot right here, to kill some police. You telling me you got one individual that has one day to get that mad and then orchestrate this type of mass shooting on cops? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right? And this is why he was considered a lone wolf, and this is why they killed him. Because he's the evidence. You kill him, there's no evidence. We blame it all on him, and that's that. But they need a motive to get these guns off the streets. They need a motive to put the military on the street. So this is why I truly, honestly believe that they sacrificed some of their people and said, we're going to put this lone wolf in position to take out a couple of cops to start something here. This is bigger than what any and everybody would want it to be. This is huge on what's happening right now. So you put this lone wolf in position, because like I say, this dude would have had 1 day to plan this. Now I can see if this rally had been planned for over the last month. All right, but this rally was planned the day before it happened. And you telling me this guy had the wits to find the perfect building to be inside of, to position himself to take these cops out? I don't think so, you guys. So now you have to understand the government, they are good at putting lone wolves in certain positions, in certain situations to do things. All right? So let's sacrifice some of our guys, okay, to put our plan in motion. So like I say, so over the last few days, you got the Dallas shooting, 12 cops shot, 5 of them dead. You got the Tennessee freeway shooting where a couple of cops got shot at yesterday night. You got the Georgia call this morning where a guy called the police. Police shows up, he shoots him. You got the Missouri thing that happened this morning where a cop pulls a guy over on a traffic violation and he shoots the cop. This is what they're saying. They're not going to sit back and allow individuals to shoot at cops. Okay? So let's see what's going on. So usually when this type of stuff goes on, obviously something's going on in the background. It's a distraction. Go to Google. Go to Google and put in executive orders, whitehouse.gov. Go to Google and put in executive orders, whitehouse.gov. Executive orders, whitehouse.gov, and click on the first one where it says executive order, whitehouse.gov. So these are executive orders Obama's put out. Go to the very first one where it says July 1st, 2016, United States policy on pre- and post-strike measures to address civilian casualties in U.S. operations involving the use of force. Okay? This was on the first. So this executive order was put in before any of this stuff happened this week. So like I say, you have to see what it is that they're trying to do and why all of a sudden we have an uproar, a chaos. It gives them a reason to use this force that we are about to break down. All right. So now that you see that is an executive order, Obama's last executive order on July 1st, let's go to Google again and put in fact sheet. So go to Google and put in fact sheet, F-A-C-T, fact sheet, executive order on the U.S. policy on pre and post strike. So we're just going to pull up the same executive order that we just seen Obama pass on July 1st, but we're going to put it in so we can see the fact behind this order. And go to the second one. All right. Go to the first one where it says fact sheet executive order on the policy whitehouse.gov. And when you go to that, let me see, I want you to skip down to where it says executive order to address civilian casualties. Executive order to address civilian casualties. Go ahead and read that out.
All right, so first, this executive order catalogs the best practices the U.S. government currently implements to protect civilians in the context of operations involving the use of force inside and outside areas of active hostility.
So it tells you that this order is put in to protect civilians involving the use of force inside, outside of areas that becomes hostile. So if an area becomes hostile and we have to bring in the military and bring in drones to take care of that situation, and citizens that don't have nothing to do with that gets killed, this executive order is for them. Go ahead. And it directs.
Okay. And it directs relevant departments and agencies to sustain such measures in present and future operations. These measures include conducting training on implementation of best practices that help reduce the likelihood of civilian casualties, and dedicating operational resources to mitigate that risk. It also includes, as appropriate, maintaining channels for engagement with the International Committee of the Red Cross and non-governmental organizations that can assist in efforts to distinguish between military objectives and civilians.
So it tells you right here who the parties are going to be. Your parties are going to be the military and civilians. Go ahead.
Acknowledging U.S. government responsibility for civilian casualties and offering condolences, including ex gracias payments to civilians who are injured or to the families of civilians who are killed.
So if me and Kirk was outside tomorrow and then something hostile happened in the area was in and they have to send the military, and me and Kirk don't have nothing to do with it, but me and Kirk got killed because of the military action and the drones that they send in that area, this is for our families. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to put something in place to where we can compensate their families. Because they know that the time is coming to where they're about to send the troops on the street, drones in the air, and start taking care of high octane areas that they don't want to deal with no more. Go ahead.
To civilians who are injured or to the families of civilians who are killed, and when civilian casualties have occurred, taking steps to minimize the likelihood of future such incidents.
So it tells you right here that they are putting themselves in place to start killing in mass numbers to where people, innocent people, civilians, are going to be killed. All right? Let's not be fools to what's happening. Okay? So this...
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com.
You are the only participant in the conference.
Sorry, I had to do that. Everybody was letting me know that they were getting kicked out. All right, I just redid it. Are you back on? Are you on now, Ak?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, I had to reset it, so maybe that'll let everybody else get back on. All right, so now they are warning you that we know the time is coming to where we are about to put the troops on the streets, the military on the streets, to where they're going to start killing people in mass numbers. Why would he put this executive order in play if that wasn't the truth? So the United States will use the lethal force that they have on people. Okay? And this force will be consisted of taking away guns, especially anyone with the assault rifle. Because every shooting that's happened so far that against the cops over the last couple of days has been with an assault rifle. All the shootings that we're talking about against the cops have been with an assault rifle. So if you have an assault rifle, you're going to be labeled as a terrorist. So now you're going to have guns against guns. Guns on the streets, and then the military guns, which becomes civil war, which leads to martial law. All right? And they're not going to have that. Okay? So go back to where we was at. Go back to executive orders, whitehouse.gov. So now that we broke down this first executive orders, showing you that they are now about to put the military in place and there's going to be mass killings. Now scroll down to number 4 to where it says Executive Order Comprehensive Approach to Atrocity Prevention and Response. And this was May 18th, 2016. All right. Give them the definition of atrocity.
Atrocity is enormous wickedness, extreme heinousness or cruelty, as the atrocity of murder.
So it means enormous wickedness, enormous murder, atrocity. That's what it means. So the word atrocity means you're going to have a massive amount of murders that's on this way. And we're not even going to break this one fully down. I'll give you the information. You can go back and read this order. But this order is basically put in place to undertake early warning and early response to prevent mass murder. So why does he put these in? See, they put these words in here to tell you that this order, this atrocity order, is a prevention to prevent mass murder. But the question is, though, why are they getting ready for mass murder? Because they are the murderers. They know what's about to happen. All right? So that they know what's about to happen, they try to go on the back end and put certain orders in to protect their behinds. So when the mass murders happen, Obama can be like, well, look, I put that order in to protect people. This is for the protection. But people are so ignorant, instead of people looking between the lines saying, you put that order in place because y'all are the ones that's doing the murder. Let's go to Revelation 6 and 4. So a lot of these things that you're seeing on TV right now are false flags. They're false flags to put their agenda in order. So the things that they're talking about in Tennessee this morning, Georgia, even thing last night in Dallas, those are false flags. Like I say, I truly believe that they put that guy in position to kill off those cops and to shoot those cops. They say, hey, we're going to take a sacrifice on some of our guys right now so we can get our agenda pushed, which is what? Taking the guns and then starting martial law. See, it's hard for them to start martial law right now if we still got guns on the streets, especially these rifles that can shoot up to 100, 200 rounds. So they say, hey, we got to get these off the street so we can start martial law. Read Revelation 6 and 4.
Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
So the red horse represents Satan. So it says another horse that was red. Alright? So the red horse represents Satan, which is the government. And they said this red horse had power given to him to take peace on the earth. So the red horse represents Satan, which is your government, which is coming to take peace away from this earth. So America, which is our government, they're coming to take peace away from the people. And it says, and given to him was a great sword. Alright? That great sword, actually go ahead and break down the word sword in the Strong's.
Word sword in the Strong's, it's G3162. A knife that is figuratively war, judicial punishment.
So the word sword means war, which is judicial punishment. Judicial means legal justice. This is your justice system. So the war is going to happen through your legal system that you trust in, your police force, your military. These are the individuals. That's what it means, a great sword, because they're going to bring a great war. The only person that can bring a great war is the military. All right? So you got people on the streets right now walking, asking for justice. There's no justice when your government is the enemy that's bringing the war. So in these times, this is where you need to turn to the Most High, because He's the only one that can help us. Go to Psalms 18 and 3. So now that we know the red horse, which represents Satan, is coming to take away peace. The peace is, things are going to change here real sooner than a lot of people think here in America. It's going to get ugly and ugly and uglier before it gets any type of prettiness. There's probably no more prettiness involved in this situation. Okay, and we're just the watchmen. We're just here through the spirit of Ahia, the same way he sent Noah, the same way he sent Enoch, to warn the people on what's about to happen. Psalms 18:3. Go ahead.
Psalms 18:3. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies.
So the Most High is the only person who can save us from this evil. Stop running to the government and asking for justice as if they're going to help you. Verse 4.
Psalms 18:4. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
So it says the sorrows of death compassed me, which is, sorrows means unease of pain. That's what sorrow means. So someone that's going through sorrow, that means they have an uneasy feeling of pain. And compass means surrounded. Alright? So David says the sorrows, the pain of death surrounded me. And that's what we have right now. We're seeing individuals unarmed getting killed. So death is surrounding us. It's all around us. Right? And the floods. So the floods mean the abundance of ungodly men made me afraid. So David says, I have pain and death which surrounds me, and the abundance of ungodly men are the ones who are doing it. So the place we live in, they continue to kill these individuals off. Unarmed, they don't care. They're ungodly. And David says we are surrounded by this. And there's going to be an unease of pain. This is why you got people out there protesting, because the pain runs deep. We're tired of it. But that's not the way we handle it. We let the Most High handle these situations. All right? Go to Exodus 14:14. The Most High is the person we turn to in these situations. You can't take these situations in your hands and try to fight this battle. You're not going to win against a government who's ungodly. Exodus 14:14.
We're in the book of Exodus 14:14. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace.
The Most High is the only one that's going to bring peace to these situations. He's the individual that's going to fight for us. We can't do it. All right? And the more and more these rallies get put together and go downtown in all these different states, the more and more things that are going to happen. Isaiah 17:11. That's when it's time to rally with each other and come together with each other and speak on this word on how we should reside in the spirit and let the Most High deal with this. Not reside in the streets and come together and try to come against the government and ask for rights and justice. That's not going to happen. It's not going to work. These are the times that we come together as a group, as a people, and bring in these scriptures and let the Spirit come in and show us how to respond and act in these certain situations. Of course, hey, I'm Judah, which is a so-called African American. Do I like seeing Judah get taken out by the cops like that? No, I don't. But I can't revenge on the situation myself. There's nothing I can do. These people are the ones in charge. All right, the earth was given into the hand by the wicked, so the wicked runs this place. And honestly, this place was never for me. I was brought here. My ancestors were brought here as a slave. This place was never for us. So why are we now out here crying and asking for justice? We better be glad that it is where it is right now. There ain't no justice. At any given time, the people that had us oppressed, we're still oppressed mentally, but the ones that had us oppressed physically, you have to understand at any given time, they can come out tomorrow and say, hey, put them back in slavery. Who's going to get us out? Who's going to say, no, you can't do that? Hey, the moment the government and the Rothschilds and all them say, put them back in slavery, you ain't going to have many people that's going to stand up for you. Why? Because they're going to be scared that they're going to get taken out. So they're going to be like, okay, well, what I got to do to get my plantation? People you thought that was going to be on your side. Nah, they going to go with the majority. You can't have that much trust in these people. All your trust, 100% of it needs to be in the Most High. And if you got 100% of your trust in the Most High, there ain't no more trust left for these individuals. I don't trust them not one bit. Do you? It's no, listen. That's why any given day they can come to me and say, hey, you got to do this. I'm like, no, I don't. And there's going to be a fight right there amongst me and whoever is part of the government right there. I'm not a slave anymore, mentally or physically. I've woken up. Isaiah 17 and 11.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, verse 11. In the day shalt thou make thy plant to grow, and in the morning shalt thou make thy seed to flourish. But the harvest shall be a heap in the day of grief and of desperate sorrow.
So it says, but the harvest shall be a heap in the day of grief and desperate sorrow. Heap means crowd. The word heap right here means crowd. So it says, but the harvest shall be a crowd in the day of grief and in desperate sorrow. So that's what we had. We've already heard David say in Psalms 18 and 4 that the sorrows of death compass him. So the pain of death he's surrounded by. All right. And now we're reading where it says the crowd in the day of grief and desperate sorrow. So this is what we had. We had people that's in grief and desperate sorrow. Verse 12.
Isaiah 17 and 12. Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations, that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters.
So the word noise right here means war. The word noise is H 1993, which means war or an uproar. That's what noise means. So it says, woe to the multitude of many people which make a war or uproar, like the war of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of many waters. So the multitude of people that is speaking of right here is talking about the troops. The troops, the multitude of troops that you will see on the streets. And these troops will be troops from different nations. All right? So that's why I said it's going to be in the rushing of nations. So when you see these troops rush the streets, it's going to be troops of different nations. And they are about to rush the people. The people are about to get taken out. Go to Jeremiah 6 and 22. So this is what you're about to have. We've already broke down the executive order where Obama says that the military action is going to be put in hostile situations and there's going to be mass casualties. All right, man, these flies is having war on us in here.
Right?
So we've already broke down the executive order saying that the military is about to be amongst the people, and there's going to be mass casualties. So this is what it's speaking of right here, to where it says the multitude of many people is talking about the military and the troops, which are consisted of many nations who are going to rush the people. Jeremiah 6 and 22.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 22. Thus saith the Lord, behold, a people cometh from the north country, and a great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth.
The north country represents the Russian army. The north country represents the Russian army. So that multitude of people, them troops that are coming, most of them are going to be the Russian army, along with some Americans who has the guts to do this. See, a lot of the American military, a lot of them ain't going to have the guts to come against the people and start killing them off. That's their family and friends. They don't have the guts to do so. So they're bringing in the Russian troops and putting them on the ground to do such. All right? Because the Russian troops don't have mercy. They don't care about you and I. They don't care about the young. They don't care about the old. Verse 23.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 23. They shall lay hold on bow and spear, They are cruel and have no mercy.
Talking about the Russian troops. Go ahead.
Their voice roareth like the sea, and they ride upon horses, set in array as men of war against thee, O daughter of Zion.
So, O daughter of Zion, O Israel, they are against you. Israel's going to get taken out first. Okay? Let me show you how. This is why we have what we have going on. They're going to take Israel out first, and who's the head tribe of Israel? Judah. So we have to take the leader out first. In America, every time you have a rally or something that happens, and if it's against Judah and Judah stand up and they start walking the streets, next thing you know, you have everybody behind them, Mexicans, whites, everybody, Issachar, Gad, everybody be on the streets with them. Okay? But let something happen to Gad tomorrow, which is an Indian. They're not going to rally on the streets. Nobody's going to rally out there back, which is sad because we should be rallying with our brothers if something happened with them. But ain't nobody going, if something happens to a Mexican tomorrow, which is Issachar, and then they get mad against the government, they out on the streets, they're going to be out there by themselves. But let something happen to Judah, which is the so-called African American, and then they hit the streets, everybody hits the streets with them. So now the government knows, hey, we got to take them out first to calm everybody else down. We take them out, then everybody else will do this. Everybody else will bow down. So now, we just read where troops from the North country are going to come in, which is your Russian army, and they don't have no mercy for you or not. So now you have this thing that's called Black Lives Matter. Ever since the Michael Brown thing, you have this group that's formed that's called Black Lives Matter. And through this group, they're walking and starting rallies nationwide. So every time something happens to a so-called African American, Black Lives Matter gathers people up in every state and they do rallies. Like even yesterday, Arizona had a rally downtown. Okay? So every state is rallying and talking about Black Lives Matter. To where these individuals are marching up and down the streets asking for justice. Alright? And while they're doing this, the government is setting up a plan and labeling this group as racist and terrorists. You know how many times I heard today people say on the news networks that these individuals that are part of Black Lives Matter are racist, and some of them are terrorists themselves. So now these groups are getting labeled as racist, and they're getting labeled as terrorists. All right. So now the government is sitting back and allowing this to happen, so the so-called blacks here in America, which is Judah, can become the target for terrorists here in America. Okay? Because when you finish reading that executive order that we was reading earlier about the casualties, the civilian casualties that are about to happen, and they say it's a prevention though. Remember, they're trying to prevent this from happening. But they're saying that they are trying to protect the people from the terrorists. So we got to put an executive order in place to protect the people from the terrorists that's here in America. And slowly but surely, so-called African Americans don't even realize you are becoming the terrorists. Look at all of these. Look what they have put in place. And they put lone wolves. I don't even think some of these are true. The shooting in Tennessee this morning on the cop, the one in Georgia where they said the dude called the cop and said his house got broken in, he showed up, and we don't see the proof on this. But through media, and they say it happened, now, just over the last 2 days, you had 4 to 5 different situations where blacks are shooting cops. Who's the terrorist? Now, the cop asked, you have become the terrorist.
Who runs the media? All of them.
They run the media so they can put out whatever they want. But just look how fast you have become the terrorist. And you think that it's already been a problem how they've been killing us. This is just the tip of it. It's just the tip of it. All right. So this is where you got to start doing your due diligence and turning your life over to the Most High, because they're coming. Let me show you how they're coming. Go to Google. Go to Google and put in Black Power Political Organization. So you don't believe me, I'm going to show you. Go to Google and put in Black Power Political Organization. And look what that says. Y'all tell me. Huh? Black Power Political Organization. And it's, huh? And it says, Black Power Group claims to be behind police killings and warns more to come. So now, are they taking the place of ISIS? That pass, we are in the same sentence with ISIS. So now once this really hits the media, yeah, you got a Black Power group who's responsible. They put that lone wolf in the buildings in Dallas. They had the guy in Georgia call the police and shoot him. They had the guy in Tennessee. They had the guy in Missouri over the last couple of days because they owned up to it. So now, blacks, I dare you to have a gun. And talking about you got rights. Listen, it's going to be trouble right now. Right now. Right now. But a white guy, he can walk into Walmart. Right? You can go to Walmart tonight and see a white guy with a pistol on his pocket. And ain't nobody going to say that. He be standing in line. Everybody still doing their thing. So let me walk into Walmart right now with a pistol. Everybody's going to be looking. Like, I'm going to have security come tap me. And be like, hey, is everything all right? But you mean that is everything? I'm shopping. Yeah, I'm cool. I never in my life needed assistance to shop for groceries. Why do I need it tonight? Oh, well, you look a little suspicious. So now that you know you are the terrorist and everywhere you go, you got to be diligent. Now, honestly, if it was up to me, I would suggest that anybody that is a so-called African American, you get pulled over, you automatically turn your phone on and put the camera on. Automatically, just do it, because it's about to go down. You don't have a chance. You're labeled now. You are the terrorist that they are speaking of in that executive order that we broke down in the beginning. That's going to create mass casualties. All right? So just watch how this right here alone, the Black Power group, watch how this escalates over the next couple of days. So now you're going to have the Black Power group that's going to come against the cops. And the cops are going to come against them, and this is going to get worse and worse and worse. All right? Let's go to Psalms 43:1. So like I said earlier, this Black Lives Matter, they're walking in every state asking for justice, talking about hands up, justice. But you cannot receive justice in an ungodly place. This place is ungodly. There is no justice. It's wicked. Go ahead.
Psalms 43:1. Judge me, O God, and plead my cause against ungodly nations. Oh, deliver me from deceitful and unjust men.
So David said, you judge me, Ahijah. I'm not going to ask the government to judge me. I'm not going to ask the government for justice. You give me justice, or how you judge me. And he said, plead my cause against an ungodly nation. I'm in a place where it's ungodly. This nation is ungodly. So I already know I don't have a chance when it comes to them. Deliver me from the deceitful and unjust men. These individuals are very deceitful and they are unjust. This is very deceitful how they can all of a sudden say that this Black Power political organization, I've never heard of it. Have you? I've never heard of this Black Power political organization. Now all of a sudden they are the ones claiming for the killings of these cops. So just like they say, ISIS claims the Orlando shootings a couple of weeks ago. Very deceitful. All right? Isaiah 59:11. These people are good. So now, not only are you the terrorist when it comes to cops, guess how everybody else is going to be looking at you when you go places. When you go places, people are going to be looking, especially us. We got dreads, got beards, we wear fringes. There they go. How you know that's them? Because they got beards and fringes and dreads. We're going to be labeled. You're going to be put in a category to where you are terrorists. See, overall, they know the Most High's chosen people. They know who the Most High's chosen people is. And they know the Most High's chosen people starts with the so-called African Americans, which is Judah. Judah is the head tribe out of the 12 tribes of Israel. Hitler said it. Go read Hitler's report. Hitler said, hey, I killed these Khazars, these fake Jewish people, because they were claiming to be the true people, and I know who the true people is. That's why I killed these people. And he says, hey, mark my words. World War III will start when they realize that I'm telling the truth about the chosen people being in America. That's what Hitler said. He said the chosen people are in America, which are God's chosen people. And World War III will start when they realize that those are the chosen people in that nation. Why? Because people are going to realize that they have been treating those people wrong for years. And then when those people realize that they are the chosen people, they're going to stand up. And when they stand up, they're going to bring civil war in that nation to where it's going to start World War III. See, but America is smart. They know what's happening. So now it's like a game of chess. They already premeditated know where they're going to move. So they already putting their moves in place to where they know we're starting to wake up. They know the true people, the Most High, starting to wake up, and we ain't having it no more. And now, so since they know that, they're going to start to put people in place to where now we are terrorists. So the moment we wake up and we say anything against the government, take him out. We won't even have rights to even speak what we want, freedom of speech. That right's going to be taken from the so-called African American right now, along with all the other ones that we're seeing right now. This is what's going to happen at the end of this. At the end of all these police killings and all the things that's going on, the end of it will be take the assault rifles off the street and take all rights away from these so-called African Americans. Not only can they not have assault rifles, they won't be able to walk around with a pistol at all. They won't be able to own a pistol at all, and they won't be able to migrate in groups at all. If you see them in groups, Rex 84 is what it's called. Break it up. Break it up. And by the way, tap in. Turn that button on to everything that we already have tapped in their house. Everything's tapped. Whether you want to believe it or not, everything in your house got a camera and is tapped. So now they're going to say, all right, We already did the Census Bureau where all of them are. Turn the book no to everything that's tapped in their house so we can hear and follow everything that they doing. That's why the Most High told us to get out of this place. This ain't our home. And they're about to show us. They showed us once before, this ain't your home. And they're about to remind us. Isaiah 59:11. They are about to remind us that this is not your home. Stop asking for justice. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 11. We roar all like bears, and mourn sour like doves.
So you can roar all you want. All this Black Lives Matter down the street, hands up, that's roaring to the Most High. You can roar. You can be sour like doves all you want. Go ahead.
We look for judgment.
You're looking for justice. Go ahead.
But there is none.
There ain't none. Why are you down there roaring and asking, black hands up, Black Lives Matter, roaring all you want, and there's no judgment? Go ahead.
For salvation, but it is far off from us.
Mm-hmm.
For our 59:12. For our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us. For our transgressions are with us, and as far as our iniquities, we know them. 13. In the transgressing and lying against the Lord, and departing away from our God, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood.
So we have departed from the Most High. And since we have departed from the Most High, these transgressions have multiplied before thee. That's why so much is going on to the chosen people. Because you have departed from the Most High. You follow their gods. You follow what they do. You follow their fashions. So now your transgressions have multiplied. Verse 14.
14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter.
Equity cannot enter means equal. Equity means equal. So there will not be no equal. Why are you walking up and down the street talking about we want the same rights as if a white man was in that car? We want justice. There will not be no equal. Just like if you have tomorrow, if you have a black cop pull a white individual over and shoot him dead like that, he might not make it back to the office. I'm serious. Because the federal cops that pull up and see it, they might just go lynch him themselves. There is no equal. Justice is afar off. That's what verse 14 says. So stop asking for justice. It's afar off, and there's no equal. Truth is falling in the street. So there's no truth. Don't believe anything these people say. And there is no equal. Y'all have no equal rights. So why are y'all protesting and walking downtown asking for these rights? It will never happen. Psalms 82:2. Stop wasting your time. Like I say, spend the time on coming together and seeking the Most High. That's what we need to be doing. Go ahead.
In the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 2. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
This is what we have here in America. They judge unjustly and they continue to accept the wicked people. So these cops, so just like in the Michael Brown situation, we all have the evidence. We all know he killed that kid and shouldn't have killed him. What happened to him? He went on unpaid leave. No, not unpaid, but he went on leave. That's what I mean. He went on leave for about 120 days and was paid. What cop wouldn't want that benefit, bro?
I want it right now.
You want it right now? I'm just saying though. What cop, if he knew he can go create a crime and kill somebody, and they just gonna send him home for about 4 months and pay him until everything calms down, and then you can come back to work. Who Why wouldn't a cop not kill somebody? How long will you judge unjustly and accept the person of the wicked? They are accepting these individuals that are doing wicked. And this ain't never going to change, you guys. All right? Habakkuk 1 and 4. So it's never going to change. It didn't. See, that's the deceivement. See, this same stuff that we're going through right now was somewhat happening when? In the 50s, in the 60s, right? But then they passed a couple of laws and did a couple of things to make people think by the 70s and the 80s, things had changed. That's the deceivement that they put out there. Things are better. Y'all equal. That's what they put in the rights. You guys are equal now. But 40 years later, 50 years later, you're like, no, y'all not. Y'all ain't equal. We're trying to show y'all this. All right? So people, this warning and this message is to you guys that continue to try to take these matters in your own hand and rally downtown looking for justice and rights. We're only going to see justice from the Most High. This is the time that we come together as people. And what y'all don't understand is once we truly come together as a people and bring a mass number of people, then that's when the Most High will send his son back to take care of these people. Maybe that's why people ain't trying to do this, because they want to continue to live in this world. They're not ready for the Messiah to come back. We got to come together as a people and sit back and wait and get our spirits right and continue to let the wicked do wicked so the Most High can take care of it. Go ahead.
Habakkuk chapter 1 verse 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. So the correct judgment, since it's slack, will never go forth. You will never get the right judgment when these days. All right, we're going to put them on leave, and then we'll take them to trial. Put them on trial for what? When there's 12 people in the jury, and 11 of them are white. And in some cases, all of them are white. For the wicked do compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeded. So there's always going to be the wrong judgment. You'll never get the right judgment out of it. So stop holding your breath for these police to be persecuted. Now, the only reason why the two cops that's involved in the incidents this week, the only reason why they might get persecuted is because of the video. But if there was no video, don't even talk about it. But the only reason why they might, and they still might find a reasoning, especially the Alton Sterling thing, if he had a gun, then those cops might get out of it. They might get a slap on the wrist or something. But he has a right to have a gun in his pocket, though. Tase him. Well, both of them had guns. Both of them had guns. But the only reason why they might get persecuted is because the video that's been slammed on social media right now. So now they would have to make an example out of these guys to make it look, they're going to have to see it again, to make it look like they're on our side, like there's some type of justice. But really on the back end, there isn't. Zephaniah 3:1. So don't get fooled or don't be deceived if they do persecute one or both situations. Because that's what's wrong with our people. Say if they do persecute both situations. Now people are like, yeah, favorite winning our way, yeah. It's getting better. No, it's not. All right, just a quick cover up real fast to hit you with this executive order that we broke down in the beginning. Boom. Hey, yeah, y'all won these two cases, but guess what? Y'all are now the terrorists. So did y'all really win? Y'all won, but now that y'all won that, y'all are now labeled as the terrorists. So yeah, like I said, we'll sacrifice a couple of our guys. So let's sacrifice a couple of these couple of cops. We'll sacrifice these cops and give them jail time. But guess what? Through the sacrifice of them, you guys are now labeled as terrorists. How you like that? Zephaniah 3:1.
Book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. 3 and 2. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord. She drew not near to her God.
So it's talking about how filthy and polluted the oppressing city is. We are in a city that oppresses the people. And they do not trust in the Most High, neither draw near to him. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow.
So it says the judges are evening wolves. I dare you to bring a case up in here. The judge is going to eat you up. You ain't one of them? Just going to eat you up. So through the information we bring in tonight, just want to show you how all the things that are going on over the last couple of days, they have put this in place. They have put this in place so they can pass. So let me show you. Let me lay it out for you. Why would they do this? People say, well, why don't they put that in place? Because Obama just passed an executive order on July 1st talking about the United States policy on pre- and post-strike measures to address civilian casualties in the U.S. So in order to put this executive order into place, we got to have some civilian casualties. And it says the civilian casualties in operations involving the use of force. So the use of force means bring troops, bring people in multitudes of numbers to create this chaos. So now you have everybody in the uproar, both sides. You have the people in the uproar, you have the politics and the police in uproar. So now both sides is on edge right now. So every police that pulls a so-called African American over in the next, from here on out, is going to have backup. So remember, so listen, so if you go do something tomorrow, you can run a red light. And then next thing you know, you got 4 police cars pulling up. You better be aware. You better understand what's happening. They coming in numbers. Because now they are fighting. Okay? So now through the protocol of a police using force, the only time a police can use force is when what? He feels threatened. That's their policy. The only time a police can use force is once he feels threatened. Guess what? They feel threatened now. With all this that's happened over the last couple of days, they automatically waking up in the morning threatened for their lives in the black community. It's 2016. We're in mid-year. Guess how many blacks have already been killed by police this year? 136. 136 so-called African Americans, look it up, have already been killed by cops. And 45% of them were unarmed. All right? That's a crazy number. All right? And they're using the Dallas thing last night as the worst mass shooting on police, or not shooting, but the worst mass killing on police since 9/11. That's what they said. And we all remember what they did on 9/11. They went after the terrorists, right? Bush came out and says, we're going to get the people who did this. So now that they say this is the worst mass killing on police since 9/11, and we have a group who's owned up to it, and not only did this group own up to it, but they say there is more to come. Guess what they're going to do? They're coming after this group. But how can they decipher and say who is in the group? They can't. So therefore, every African American becomes a suspect of this group. Correct? Every African American becomes a suspect of this group. So now we're all labeled as terrorists. So through the Spirit, I'm here to warn you tonight and give you information. Watch out. And the only person who can save us from this evil is the Most High. So if you haven't got your spirit correct with the Most High, this is the time to do so. Because you have a big target on your back. Whether you do something or not. Alright? I don't want to see you brothers on Facebook tell me, oh man, I got pulled over by the police, or I got an altercation with the police, man, and it was 20 of them. Don't put yourself in that situation. And like I said, you get pulled over by the cops, you don't even move. Just keep your hand on the steering wheel. Alright? The moment they pull you over, you see the lights on behind you? Before you even pull over, turn your phone on so you can record. And when they walk up to the windows, keep your hands on the steering wheel. They ask you for your license, you tell them to take you out the car and get the license themselves. I promise you. Because the moment you reach for it, you're going to have 10 cops. And one of them is going to say he has a gun. Or something. Or he was taking too long to get the wallet out the pocket. So through the Spirit of the Most High, I'm trying to show you guys how to conduct yourselves when you get put in this situation. The moment you see the sirens, don't pull over until your phone is on record. They walk up to the windows, you don't take your hands off the steering wheels. Even if they ask you for the license registration, you tell them where your license is, you tell them where the registration is, and you tell them to take you out of the car and they can get it. To the moment you go to reach it in the glove box, you are a terrorist. And if you got 5 to 6 cops already at the car, all one of them got to say is, he got a gun. You told him to reach for his registration is in the glove box. All right? We have to be smart in this fight. This war is become real. It's a reality. It's serious now. So now, in order for us to endure this through the Spirit of the Most High, He's going to give us the guidance. Tonight's lesson is just a guidance on how to treat the situations now that you know you're a terrorist. So tonight's lesson was to show you through all these incidents that America is under siege, and through this siege, the so-called African Americans have now become terrorists. The whole country is under siege because now they're trying to get the weapons from everybody. But through this process, the so-called African Americans have now become terrorists. All right? And there's nothing you can do about it. So stop rallying and walking in groups, protesting. No one's trying to hear you. Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, them dudes have marched until their mustaches turned gray and nothing's happened. They marched so to where now they work for these individuals. This is where their checks are coming from. Their weekly checks are now coming from them because they gave up on the marches and everything. And a lot of the marches they was doing were premeditated. They were marching with the people to help keep the people in check. Okay? So, through that information, I hope it touched a few people to where a few people will say, hey, you know what? Let's find a way to get intact with the spirit of the Most High. If you, like I said earlier, if you haven't already, this is the time. Find some brothers, find some people in your area, and let's start linking up and start coming closer together, because you guys, they are about to start taking us out one by one. They got a reason to now. You're a terrorist. All right? So with that in mind, we'll say Shabbat Shalom and all praises to the Most High.